Russia, September 2003. Economic growth driven by high levels of both Russian and foreign money is obvious. The flow of capital, which is producing a net inflow of funds, underpins not just the new consumerism across Russia, but more importantly, major sections of basic industries. There is a palpable desire for change across the country and a widespread recognition that economic stability is critical. That stability will be based partly on oil and gas. The presence of President Putin at the recent signing between BP and AAR demonstrates the role that oil and gas play in the economy and will play in the future of Russia. Three great companies have merged to capitalize on that future. From their new office, currently being constructed in the heart of Moscow, a team drawn from TNK, Sidanko and BP will run operations across 11 time zones that encompass the complete spectrum of a vertically integrated oil company. The combination of assets and experience has the potential to produce a world-class oil company in the world's largest country.
TNK BP will be one of the truly integrated oil companies in the world. That is, from the wellhead all the way to the marketing of petroleum products. In the upstream area, there is a whole slate of new technologies that I believe we've only begun to explore the potential for increasing the productivity of the oil fields. And the combination of all of the companies together, bringing in logistics and distribution experience and brand management, I think has great potential for TNK BP.
I think, first of all, it should be Russian company with a high level of efficiency, and I think our joint brand should reflect all this characteristic, like high level of efficiency, high level of transparency of the company, cooperativeness with the investor and with the shareholders, and also it should be quite aggressive company with the, I mean, in good meaning of that word, with a strong intention to expansion.
The economic development over the last decade has been astonishing, and the potential for further growth is obvious. The real competitive advantage for TNK BP is that it has established leading positions in all links of an integrated value chain. The company continues to grow its exports, and inside Russia, the asset base stretches from petrol pump back to the wellhead. The company is particularly well placed in exploration and production.
Russia is a huge country, and its oil and gas reserves are also enormous. There are 60 billion barrels of proved reserves of oil and nearly 1,700 TCF of gas, which is 30% of the gas that exists in the world. And this speaks to the incredible richness of the hydrocarbon basins in the country that stretch from the European part of Russia through Western Siberia and the rest of Siberia all the way to the Far East. And particularly here in Western Siberia, which outside the Middle East is the most prolific hydrocarbon basin on the planet. If we look at the position that TNK BP has in Russia, then we can see that the company is very well positioned here in Western Siberia, both in the production heartland, but also in some of the new areas of the basin that are now under development. TNK BP is a major operator here in the Volga-Urals region, in the southwestern part of Russia, and is also the operator and major shareholder in the giant Kovitka gas field here in eastern Siberia, and also in the major oil discovery in this province, Verkhnechonsk.
This is Samatlow, the third biggest oil field in the world. It's twice the size of Prudhoe Bay. Since it was put into production, this field has produced over 2 billion tons or 14 billion barrels of light sweet crude. Through TNK and Sidanko, TNK BP has the controlling interest and is the operator of this supergiant. Improving recovery from Samatlow and the company's many other fields is where employing complementary skill sets from TNK, Sidanko and BP will come into its own, utilizing both Russian and BP expertise to provide the best opportunity for all.
Getting the right people into the right place is, of course, a very challenging proposition anywhere in the world. Perhaps we have additional complications in Russia and specifically in our TNK BP joint venture. But I feel that we've done as good of a job as possible during the integration process, where TNK management team, together with BP and Sedanka, put a lot of effort in trying to come up with the right candidate for each position.
Заведомо нам бы хотелось видеть иностранного представителя. В первую очередь это участки, связанные с применением современных новых технологий, новых решений. Это сферы, связанные с развитием международных отношений, международных контактов. На этих участках, безусловно, должны находиться люди, обладающие международным опытом и знаниями. При этом есть направления, где, конечно же, лучше использовать русских специалистов, где связано со спецификой русского рынка, где связано со спецификой русского законодательства, вопросов, связанных с большим и непростым комплексом налоговых проблем, с вопросом, связанным взаимоотношения с местными органами власти. Конечно, на этих участках мы будем использовать людей, которые обладают соответствующим опытом и знанием.
One of the critical factors of the success of the new TNK BP will be having top quality people. Our emphasis is to bring in the top and the very best from the three companies that we are actually merging. By taking that knowledge and quality of the people and bringing in some BP individuals that have not only the technical knowledge and the business knowledge, but also an enormous amount of international experience, you can build a team that has the capability to carry us to the level that we need to be.
Richard Herbert is typical of this team with exploration experience worldwide.
Relative to other parts of the world, I would say that Russia is not particularly mature from an exploration point of view. Just to try and illustrate the scale of opportunity that we see here, depending on who you talk to, the undiscovered volumes of oil and gas here in Western Siberia range from 100 to 200 billion barrels of oil equivalent, which is absolutely immense. In the existing production centers in places like Western Siberia or here in the Volga-Urals, we can see that the application of technology has not reached the levels that we see in most of other parts of the world. And that therefore gives us opportunities to find new discoveries, either satellites to existing fields, or Sputniks as the Russians call them, or in new plays which may be deeper in the basin or on the basin margins.
The potential for adding value in this vast country is extraordinary. This extends across the asset base, from reserves addition to further monetization of crude and products in export markets. Another area of huge potential lies in raising recovery rates in existing fields, and that's where BP's experience of optimizing recovery in mature fields through appropriate technology will pay. The man responsible for creating a new technology stream across TNK BP is James Dupree. James, here touring Ryazan refinery, knows about the impact of introducing new technology from his career in BP, which saw him last leading deep water production in the Gulf of Mexico.
The Russian oil industry's had a number of constraints on technology. If you look at benchmarks against Western standards, a lot of the assets benchmark low compared to Western standards. For example, on water flooding recovery factors, many of the assets benchmark very low. Optimization of pumps, pump run life will benchmark very low relative to the Western benchmark. The first thing we've done is we've formed a technology stream. That technology stream is going to consolidate a lot of the intellectual capital from Sedanco, TNK, and from BP, and some external people. And with that consolidation, we're going to follow a very focused strategy where we're going to look at the highest value assets in the portfolio, and we're going to attack each one of them with the strategy towards each particular type of technology. For example, we'll go take a hydraulic fracturing strategy to a particular field. We'll take a drilling strategy to the highest value areas, and we'll start that way.
В последнее время мы стали внедрять новые технологии в основном при ремонте скважин, при повышении нефтеотдачи пластов. Мы очень эффективно в последнее время используем технологии ТСО, это гидроразрыв пластов. В то же время мы надеемся, вот, в связи с тем, что в ближайшее будущее мы будем работать в новой международной компании, использовать тот богатейший опыт, который есть у подразделения Седанка в части повышения нефтеотдачи. Вот. Поэтому мы что-то уже делаем, конечно, но надеемся, что этот уровень будет немножко лучше.
Alexander Gorolik is the production unit leader in the north of the supergiant Samatlaw field. The southern end of the field, some 100 kilometers away, is run by Igor Tsikin.
Повсеместно на производстве у нас идет внедрение новых технологий для повышения эффективности работы наших скважин. Для того, чтобы поддержать уровень производственной по добыче нефти, мы применяем бурение новых скважин на новых группах пластов. Конкретно на пласте группы рябчик, который имеет наименьшую обводненность, больше извлекаемые запасы. Там мы производим бурение скважин с применением новых технологий по применению растворов, бурения, заканчивание скважин, перфорацию и подвергаем эти скважины гидроразрыву пласта. Также применяем импортное оборудование, импортные цены для того, чтобы увеличить депрессию на пласт и повысить производительность наших скважин.
The volume of recoverable resources lies at the heart of the new venture and is the key technical challenge. One man who has worked on such challenges worldwide is BP's Chief Executive of Exploration and Production, Tony Hayward.
The biggest unknown is the ultimate recoverable resource, which is to do with our understanding of the subsurface. It's clear that this is an enormous resource. The question is, what sort of recovery factors should you expect from such large fields? And we'll be approaching that in a very systematic and rigorous way. Firstly, by creating very detailed subsurface models of the resources originally in place, and then looking very hard at the depletion that has taken place thus far, and in particular looking for areas which we know to exist from our preliminary analysis of large areas of unswept oil, where we will be able to apply the sort of technology we've applied with great success in fields like Prudhoe and Forties to go after incremental recovery. And there's no doubt that there is significant opportunity for incremental recovery in all of the West Siberian assets.
There seems to be a large opportunity to move the recovery factors in most fields up. When we look at the opportunity to optimize from where they currently stand compared to Western standards, that opportunity is huge on a cost basis and on a recovery of oil basis.
Technology will also certainly make a difference in the downstream operations of TNK BP. This is a new refinery near the city of Nizhny Vartovsk that is processing oil from the nearby Samatlaw field. The company's largest refinery at Ryazan, southeast of Moscow, is far older. A major reconstruction program has been underway since 1998. The man in charge of technical issues at Ryazan is Sergei Loginov.
С 1998 года была проведена большая работа по реконструкции существующих установок, выводу установок из расконсервации. Была проведена большая работа по реконструкции установок первичной переработки нефти, в результате чего мы получили улучшенного качества масляной погоды. Увеличили отбор вакуумных вагонов, увеличили отбор дизельного топлива, улучшили качество бензина, провели реконструкцию установок гидрочисток дизельного топлива. В результате этой реконструкции мы можем уже сейчас получать дизельное топливо с довольно приличными экологическими свойствами, с низким содержанием серы.
The reconstruction at Ryazan has attracted much interest. The efficiency of the work is being addressed through the introduction of the capital value process and an examination across the company of what can be achieved by a review of performance management. Challenging goals are being set across the value chain and processes being set in place to deliver them.
We would like to introduce some special procedures adopted in BP. One of them is called capital value process, which is meant to describe how large projects, say over 10 million or $20 million, should be appraised, selected, then appraised, and then approved and monitored in the whole company.
In TNK BP, we're going to do regular performance reporting something that we will see on a monthly or quarterly or annual basis. And as we go through that reporting, we will always be looking at any deviations against our expected outcomes or plans. As we see those, whether they're positive or whether they're potentially negative, we will have enough time to be able to look ahead and identify interventions so that we can continue to deliver on plan or perhaps exceeding the plan.
The introduction of new management processes will lead to change, especially when linked with selected new technology, not just at Ryazan but across the company. The search for excellence has already produced results in the retail sector. Vehicle ownership has increased dramatically in the last 10 years. To meet that demand, TNK, Sidanko and BP have built over 2,100 retail sites. TNK BP's combined operations will have the largest share of the Moscow market. That position has been the result of much effort, and the offer to customers is much appreciated.
Высокое качество обслуживания, очень хорошее топливо, качественное, недорогое, лучше, чем на других заправках.
BP is a good service, good quality of gasoline, and just I like BP. I always choose BP.
The combination of quality products and services is obviously popular, as is the move towards more environmentally friendly fuels. The improvements in performance have been accompanied by a growing awareness of the environmental impact of all the company's activities. There is a widespread move towards a Western approach to operations and a concerted effort to restore areas damaged in the past. In the Raduzhny region, this effort is led by Ludmila Verbetskaya.
Это значит, все специалисты, руководители, просто рабочие, все вовлечены в эту систему экологического менеджмента. Сейчас, на данный момент, внедряются экологические аудиты внутренние. Вот у нас уже проведены они. То есть одно структурное предприятие проверяет другое. И свои замечания направляет на предприятие, которое было проверено, с указанием их недостатков, и рекомендаций.
In addition to the company revising the way it approaches the environment, remediation across the oil sector will require partnership with government. TNK BP's aim is to cause no further harm to the environment, and the company has a realistic view of the effort needed to reach desired standards, not just for the environment, but also in the other two components of HSE, health and safety.
As part of our initial evaluation of TNK, we conducted an HSE baseline study, so we're fully aware of the HSE issues we have to deal with. We will put in place HSE standards, and we will work over a period of time to bring TNK BP up to BP's worldwide standards. But it's not going to happen quickly, because of what we'll be doing, of course, is bringing the rest of the Russian industry with us.
So the team behind the merger is determined to make a difference in all the areas of the company's operations. How possible is that?
I think it would be naive to say that doing business in Russia is simple or easy. It's complex. The country, the whole area of the former Soviet Union and the newly independent states have gone through one of the most rapid transitions in modern economic history. The laws, the evolution, the governance systems are still evolving and developing. I think we're bringing together Western governance processes and management techniques and models into Russia in this evolving system, and it's a challenge.
От слияния, от привлечения сюда, в Россию, талантливых инженеров, безусловно, талантливых, от умений и уже от того, что они адаптировали эти технологии в других местах, где-то схожих с точки зрения климатических условий, похожих на то, что предстоит делать здесь, в ТНК BP, безусловно, мы ожидаем серьезного прорыва с точки зрения привнесения западных технологий, их адаптации и их умение привнести и донести с точки зрения обучить персонал, как правильно их использовать, насколько они могут быть эффективны. Это работа не одного дня, безусловно, на это потребуется время, но я думаю, что именно у этой работы будет такой очень весомый вклад, весомый успех в то слияние, о котором...
The objective of the management team will be to make sure that we're able to retain the best elements of the TNK culture, which has been highly entrepreneurial, highly aggressive in the way that we've grown the company, with that of a major public company like BP that brings with it the best world practices in such areas as corporate governance, technical excellence, economic efficiency, environmental sensitivity.
Good corporate governance and regard for people and the environment underpin BP's brand values. Promoting their own brand values outside of the company is a task that TNK and Sidanko have been undertaking for some time through carefully focused social investment programs in communities where the company operates. They include providing holidays for children, educational aid for those with learning difficulties, and providing schools with computers. In the refinery city of Ryazan, TNK has ensured that lighting could be installed during the reconstruction of the 15th century Kremlin buildings. The effectiveness of these varied investments is ensured by specialists. In Siberia, a program to support the local Khanty peoples is run by Natalia Molchanova.
За основу взяли это возрождение культуры и самобытности народов Ханты и лесных ненцев. Вот сейчас мы с вами находимся в селе Варьёган. В прошлом году мы оказали помощь, открывался здесь новый музей, и мы помогли в оснащении этого музея. Здесь, в этом селе, есть национальная школа, в которой учатся ребятишки Ханты и лесные ненцы. А для них в прошлом году мы издали вот такую брошюрку «Мои традиции меня сберегут». Авторами этой брошюрки являются жители этого села Варьёган. В этом году вот, для ребятишек этой же школы мы издаем картинный словарь для младших классов на их родном хантыйском языке. Это будет очень красочное издание, и ребятишки по нему смогут изучать свой родной язык.
TNK BP will build on projects like this to ensure close links with communities across Russia. However, the company's future will also depend on building the right relationships with the entire workforce.
Коллектив завода надеется, что будут позитивные изменения. Думаю, то, что British Petroleum известная компания во всем мире, хорошее начало, хорошие традиции. В основном, конечно, естественно, это очень хорошая направленность на соблюдение промышленной безопасности, на соблюдение экологии и на улучшение именно качества продукции, а также на экономичность работы завода. Поэтому, в общем-то, весь коллектив завода надеется, что с приходом British Petroleum, в общем, завод приобретет следующее вдохновение, следующую жизнь еще на многие десятилетия вперед.
In 2-3 years' time, I'd like TNK BP be a different company than today. Much bigger, even more successful, very profitable, being a real player. And I think the future is very exciting, and I look forward to it.
Our target to create the most successful and most efficient company in oil industry in Russia, and probably one of the leading company in this business worldwide. And I think the combination of very promising Russian oil assets, Russian professional people, and also knowledge of BP professionals, where technological advance will allow to us create really strong and successful company.
I believe that if we look back 2 years from now, success for me would be a company who has continued to grow its productivity, has changed the way it's done business, has changed the way the world views that business can be done in Russia, and I believe the impact on that will translate itself all the way to the economic confidence of the country and for others looking to invest in Russia.